Namaste, myself Dr. K.K. Chaudhary, Faculty of Education and Methodology, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss about the approaches to educational planning. There are four major approaches to educational planning. The first is the social demand approach. This approach was used in the Robin Committee report on the higher education in the Britain. In India too, this approach is a popular one while opening new school and college in a particular. In this method are involved the following steps. First, to estimate the proportion of students completing school education and are likely to enter into higher education. Second, to estimate how many of these successful school leaving students would actually apply for admission to colleges. Third, to determine how many of the applicants should be given admission to higher education. And fourth is to determine the length and duration of the study. Thus, the major issue involved in this approach is to forecast future demand for seats, keeping in the mind social and educational trends as well as demographic changes. The underlying assumption in this approach is that expansion of education is beneficial to the economy and thus additional expenditure on education would not create a burden too heavy to bear. This approach is more prevalent in those societies which favor traditional cultural value where decisions are taken on the basis of public opinion and in society where the social environment is generally pessimistic in nature. The approach is based on the currently expressed preference and does not take into account public expenditure on education, which the benefit as the demand for education may far exceed the resources available in the vast country like India. Also, it sometimes leads to a mismatch between the output of higher education and the demand of the economy. Second approach is social justice approach. This approach emphasizes justice to the disadvantaged section of the society and is based on the Article 45 of the Indian Constitution. This approach is aimed at making special provision for the socially, economically, and educationally disadvantaged communities for a longer duration. This includes opening ashram schools for tribal area, special concession and scholarship incentive and the relaxations. Third is the rate of return approach. According to this approach, investment in education should take place in such a way that the return from the investment are equal to the return from the other kind of investment of the capital, that is, investment in the industry. This principle is known as equimarginal return in economic theory and could be extended to educational sector. This approach treats education as an investment in the human capital and uses rate of return as a criteria in allocation of financial resources. The approach implies that if the rate of return is low, expenditure on the education should be curtailed. However, in reality, it is difficult to apply this approach to education due to problems associated with measuring rate of return in education. An educated person earning or rate of return depend upon his innate intelligence, parental socio-economic status, motivation and aspiration. Hence, it is not easy to attribute the rate of return only to education acquired. Hence, this approach is least frequently applied to the education. And fourth is the manpower planning approach. In this method, the general demand for and the capacity of supply of human resources in different streams of and at different level of the education sector are estimated. The approach asserts that the system of education produces the right quality of human resources with the desirable knowledge, attitude, and the skill in the right numbers, and thus education is directly linked with economic development. The application of the manpower planning approach depend on these factors: an appraisal and analysis of the existing employment condition and the system of education, planning the system of education vis-a-vis the manpower need of the economy, and using the financial resources in an optimum way so as to fulfill the demand of the employment sector without incurring wastage on account of unemployment. The requirement of the employer regarding the occupation and the professional qualification for employees, their level of training and ability should also be assessed. The manpower planning approach takes note of the fact that the teaching profession requires approximately 60% of the highly qualified human resources of a country, which compete with the demand for manpower in other economic sectors. A detailed projection of the demand for human resources is difficult due to uncertainty of productivity trends. Some developed countries such as Norway, France, and Sweden estimate that their future manpower needs so as to meet the demand of the economy, whereas others such as Great Britain estimate the number of educated on the basis of student demand. This is all about the approaches to educational planning. I have told you the four major approaches. Hope you understand the topic, and if you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University Jaipur. Thank you very much. Approaches